Thank you for that introduction. Nice that you're referring to pronouncing my name in Dutch. As you can see on all the tables, there are some Dutch treats here. Of course, as you're entering a new company, as you're entering a new market, as Piers mentioned, we are one of those new entrants in this only slowly growing market, fighting for some attention, fighting for that piece of the pie, which is also why we're here today. What I'm going to be doing today is tell you a little bit about optimizing your claims or communication strategies. So for SKIM, when we talk about communications expertise and knowledge, a lot of it is founded on the knowledge we have of claims and effective claims. So what I'll do today, for those of you who may not be aware of what I mean when I'm talking about claims, give a short introduction about claims and what they are, also what they represent for a company, and then we'll go through some best practices that we've learned at SKIM over the years in all of our years of doing communications research on claims. Now, I want to keep this interactive and fun, so on your tables you'll see a very low-tech orange card and a just as low-tech blue card. We'll be using that to vote whether you like one claim or another claim, and that way I'll try to run you through all of the best practices that we've come across over the years doing this kinds of research. Yeah? So a little bit about our messaging expertise. Over the years we've done a lot of claims research, and it's always been according to a very similar research format, which means that we can group all of those outcomes together, and we have built up a database of over 10,000 claims and messages, and we can use that database to find out what works and what doesn't work in communication. And we've distilled a messaging framework from that, which you can use to develop more relevant and better claims for your target audience. Now, with that, we've been able to provide workshops to our clients, and just like what I'm doing with you here today, quickly take you through the learnings and best practices. And of course, we've also published articles. Some of you may have seen our article in Q2 for Asia Research, where we looked at how to appeal to men versus women in the beauty category. There's a lot of different things we can do with and play with the data, so to say, as we're building up our database. And of course, we're gradually building more and more, so we're now also looking at geographical splits, Asia versus the rest of the world, or Latin America. And we just continue to develop and look at more kinds of ways to look at that data and look at what works and what doesn't work for categories, industries, etc. So first, very briefly, what is a claim? Just so we're all on the same page here. And also, what is a claim not? A claim is not a campaign slogan. It's not Nespresso what else or Gillette the best a man can get. This is very generic. A claim is really far more specific about the product that you're trying to sell. However, it's also not a product description. It doesn't say a 2-in-1 shampoo, anti-dandruff. It's not a description of a mobile phone or mobile subscription. It needs to be more than that. It needs to be a promise, a short statement about a product that is specific. It sets the product and the brand apart from others. It's supported by evidence, and it prompts action, and that's the most important. You want to talk about your product, and you want to be very specific about what sets your product apart from someone else so that they buy you, right? So that's what we talk about when we're talking about a claim. Now, why do we feel that claims are so important and such a big part of communication? When I talk about my claims knowledge and understanding, I don't think I know only about claims. I think I know a little bit about communication in general. And that's because the claim, to me, represents the full value proposition of your product. A value proposition takes into account the market that you're offering to, the insight of what problem you're trying to solve for your customer, the product offering that you have, the benefits you're able to deliver with that, the differentiation, how you differ from other providers out there or other people selling your product, as well as some evidence to back that up. And you're going to need that evidence to back you up, both for your clients, for your customers, but also maybe if your competitor starts to challenge you legally, whether or not what you've been saying is actually true. All right? So the claim needs to summarize all of that in a very, very concise statement about why your product is the one that people should be choosing for. So already introduced just now, the lessons that we've learned about claims, it's kind of like an obstacle course. You need to pass all of the hurdles to succeed in your claims creation. I mentioned it already. What I want to do is make it interactive, and I want to show you some claims, show you some communication messages, and I'm going to ask you to put up your cards, either orange or blue, for the one that you think is best. I don't want you to think too much about your target audience or what you've learned over the years in terms of marketing. I just want you to answer what you like, because I'll be asking you why you like it as well. And everyone has their own opinion. I mean, we've learned what works for the majority of the population. This can differ between markets as well. Just give your opinion, and we'll see. Hopefully, there's going to be some mix, and some people will disagree with each other on what they like best. Okay? So, I have two statements here. I have for some kind of lotion or cream, for perfectly smooth skin, or designed for perfection. I'd like you to raise the card which you think is more appealing to you to buy this product. Okay. I see a lot of blue cards. I see also some orange there in the corners. Can I ask you there in the back why you chose orange? Yeah?
There's a little bit more leeway for budget factor, I guess. I cannot guarantee you perfectly smooth skin, but I can tell you I designed it for perfection.
Okay. So as a producer of the lotion, you would prefer that one. How about as a consumer?
If I want to buy a car, I guess I would choose the one.
Okay.
But I guess.
Okay. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody loves perfectly good skin.
Yeah. Okay. So that's also what we're finding in general. When you put these kind of messages next to each other, most people prefer for perfectly smooth skin because you're talking about the relevant end benefit. What is it that I'm getting from you when I buy this product? In this case, smooth skin. That's the benefit that you're selling me. That's relevant. It's concrete about the value that it promises. Yeah? Next, smooth in seconds, last for 2 weeks or longer, or easy hair removal for lasting smoothness. Cards, please. Okay. I see a lot of blue again, a little bit of orange. Can I ask you why you chose blue? Yeah. 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 Exactly what most consumers would say. You want to be specific about the benefit you're getting. Long-lasting could mean anything to me. But at the same time, it can be a double-edged sword too. Because if I say I have lasting smoothness for 2 weeks, maybe a consumer thinks, well, 2 weeks is not that long. I want it to last even longer. Whereas if you would just say long-lasting, the thing that people might think of for themselves would be that it lasts even longer than 2 weeks. So again, you need to be very clear on what people expect to know whether it's a relevant benefit to them to make it specific. But in general, if you can be specific, do so. Yeah. Next, new product formulation to prevent split ends or prevent split ends with the new product formulation. I think you've seen what we're doing here, but what would you prefer? What do you like best? I see a lot of orange cards here. Yeah? Aditi? Why orange?
It's a specific benefit, and it's actually telling me why I should go ahead and pick up your new product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Specific benefit.
Yeah, exactly. And you're starting out with that benefit. So if you have a claim, if you have a communication message, there's so many sources of communication coming to you at any one time. You only have a split second to convince someone, right? So the very most important benefit that you're going to be talking about should come first. That's the thing you care about, and then after that I can support why and how I'm able to deliver on that. In a lot of cases also, you might be talking about multiple benefits for your product. And then it becomes kind of interesting. Because then you need to decide really well for yourself what the main benefit is that you want to communicate to. And that depends on your target audience. Looking back at that value proposition, who is my target audience, who am I talking to, and what is the most important benefit to them? For instance, when I'm looking at dieting products that taste really good yet don't have any additional calories, which one do I care about most? Is it the no calories or is it the taste? Right? So that's something that you need to then understand really well about your target group. Moving on. New formulation, better than Ariel, or remove stains that other detergents leave behind. I see a lot of orange cards. Can I ask you why you chose blue? Yeah. So you're saying if you can be better than the best, that would be appealing to you. Yeah, exactly. This is something that a lot of marketers think, but a lot of people are also put off by it sometimes. They don't want you to make such a direct comparison between one brand and the other. And at the same time, another thing that we're seeing here is that this claim is not really that specific about what it's better at. Whereas the second claim focuses on being better at removing stains. And at the end of the day, that's what we care about. Making sure that your detergent removes stains that benefit. And then when you do work on a comparison and you want to compare to other detergents, being specific about that benefit in which you're better at than someone else. Okay? I'm going to skip through this a little bit more quickly. I see I only have 5 minutes left. Next, there are some pitfalls. It's not just about the content of your claim, it's also about how you phrase it, obviously. A lot of us here focus on wordsmithing and understanding exactly how you should be saying and communicating, talking about that exact same message. So another thing we need to worry about, make sure, is that we avoid pitfalls. So I have a few statements here again. Again, I'm going to ask you to vote which one you like better, the more gentle hair removal with our new shaving system or the less painful hair removal. Blue or orange, which do you like best? I see quite some blue, a little bit of orange as well. What we see here typically is that the more gentle would work better. And that's because you don't want to be negative. You don't want to remind people about the pain of hair removal. That puts people off. So typically, talking about more gentle hair removal would work better. But there's also cases where this can differ, again, because when you think about an anti-dandruff shampoo or when you think about something to prevent hair loss, talking about anti-dandruff or talking about hair loss or preventing hair loss are very, very specific. You're very specific about the benefit you're able to deliver on them. Whereas if you'd want to be positive about that, you'd need to kind of use weird words to talk your way around it. And you're not able to deliver very specifically on your product benefit by phrasing it in a positive way. But if you are able to be specific and positive, by all means, do so. Contains potassium and sulfur for healthy growth and development, or contains essential minerals for healthy growth and development. Get your cards again. See quite some orange, a few blue here and there. Yeah. Typically what we would also see is that the orange one here would perform better. And the reason for that is that we should avoid jargon where possible. Now, we do see sometimes that, for instance, in Asia, people like the technical stuff more. They like the reasons to believe of why something is able to perform, a new technology, a new formulation, a new technique. But don't push that too far. A lot of the time, again, the most important thing to communicate is the benefit. And the technology behind it is something that supports it. Also here, for instance, the sulfur or potassium, people don't know what that does or what that means. Sulfur might even sound scary to me, but if you say essential minerals, you keep it at the language that your consumer or your customer speaks as well. Now, last one, so delicious we got thrown out of the diet aisle, or lose weight without losing taste. Which one do you prefer? Okay. A lot of orange, a few blue. Typically, at least when we're talking about claims, about selling your product compared to someone else's, you should just be specific and avoid humor. I'm not saying that there's no room for humor. I love humor. but it's not necessarily when you're trying to capture the value proposition of your product in that one single claim, that one statement that you can talk about with your product to convince them to choose for you. Humor is great for getting interest and creating some awareness, not necessarily to convince people to buy you versus someone else. Okay? So what I've done now, I've talked mainly about communications and our expertise in communications. As mentioned, we do work in a lot of different areas as well. We mainly focus on modeling choice behavior, understanding people's choices in pricing and portfolio management and communication. We're not shy to share about this either, so you can find information on any of these topics on our website. Also, the 4 hurdles that we've discussed here today can be found on our website under skimgroup.com/clearing hurdles of claim creation with hyphens. For now, I want to give the floor back to you, unless our MC thinks otherwise, and we should move on to the next presentation. I leave that to you, and hear from you how you create your claims, how you write your claims, and whether you test them, and what's difficult for you. And also, when you're looking back, did they meet all of the hurdles? Did you clear all of them? So that's it for me.